Many Rockford residents have heard the story about how the I-90 Tollway was initially intended to go through downtown Rockford. But is that true? And what about other projects that would have seen a major highway system come through the heart of the city? I talked to some experts who shed some light on the subject.
You know, business was booming in Rockford in the 50s, just like it was around the country.
By the 50s, Rockford was well on its way to becoming one of the largest manufacturing hubs in the United States. Industrial smokestacks were a symbol of the city's vibrant middle class. Recreation and shopping districts on 7th Street, Main Street, and East State Street were booming. Highways 20 and 51 were the main ways in and out of Rockford, and as more people bought automobiles, personal travel was evolving.
They wanted to be able to travel to Chicago and not take 3-4 hours, taking 20 and having to stop in every little town.
Shipping needs were also changing. As factories became more streamlined, goods needed to come in and out of the city much quicker.
And the business leaders wanted to move their freight on semi-trucks as opposed to having to pay for trains and go along those schedules. It wasn't nearly as nimble.
As cities like Rockford modernized, the federal government was at work to accommodate the need for a more efficient highway system. In 1956, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the Federal Aid Highway Act, which spurred construction of Interstate 90, a portion of which would connect Rockford to Chicago. There were preliminary talks of having the interstate come through downtown, but those talks were halted.
But the political leaders and the large property owners at the time felt like they didn't want that disrupting their neighborhood, and so the political forces that be pushed for a different solution out in cheap farmland out towards Boone County.
Before the tollway was finished and you drove east on East State Street, Rockford largely ended here at Alpine Road. Beyond this point were fields and farmland.
All that cheap farmland got bought up and developed, and things moved out that way. Rockford College moved out there. St. Anthony Hospital moved out that way. Rock Valley College was built out on the east side. The next big mall, Cherry Vale, was built out that way. With the east side flourishing with the addition of the tollway, another push to bring a major highway through the center of the city was hatched. The project was the Woodruff Expressway. After the city built the Whitman Street interchange and the Cloverleaf at Spring Creek Road and North 2nd Street in the 1960s, leaders eventually wanted the structures to be part of having I-39 cut through Rockford. And so the plans were to come in along Woodruff Avenue, along near where the railroad tracks are, hook up with Rural Street, take Rural Street across the river, and then exit to the north on Huffman. But the Woodruff Expressway was never built.
And the thing that really kind of put the nail in the coffin for that project was when City Council voted to allow FedEx to go in just north of the kind of the curly Q there on 39, where it kind of wraps around so you can get to Alpine. That was supposed to continue north and connect into that railroad right away. And then in 92, I think, it was that kind of transportation plan ended.
City of Rockford traffic engineer Jeremy Carter says structures like the Whitman interchange that are part of giant overpasses that cut through cities are not common today.
I mean, they destroyed neighborhoods. They made it near impossibility for pedestrians to get past them. They created these big vehicle rivers in the middle of urban areas.
Although there's been tremendous benefits to building the tollway on the east end of the city, economic consequences have been felt downtown and on the west side of Rockford.
Not as much development was in that area, and that's unfortunate for that part of town.
In Rockford, Jim Haggerty, Eyewitness News.